Tell me all about your boat.
Well, A Day at the Races has a pedigree, and it was built in 1966 by Camper Nicholson's, two drawings by Peter Nicholson for the first owner, who was Sir Onatia. And it was to the 1 ton cup rule, and the idea was that it would compete for one of the 3 boats representing Britain in the 1 ton cup in 1967 in Copenhagen. Sir Onatia, who was also a long-time president of the Little Ship Club, had the boat designed and built by Peter Nicholson, who sailed her in the 1 ton cup in Copenhagen. And when I caught him over breakfast to ask him how the boat performed in that series of races, he said in the first race he got to the first mark first and was absolutely delighted, only to find that boats overtook as soon as they started going downwind, mainly because of the new hull configurations which are coming in at that time, which is fin and skeg, which had so much less wetted surface area than long keel boats. And this is one of the last of the long keel boats, and boats here today will be a mixture of fin and skeg and long keel.
How long have you owned her?
I bought her in 2001 and sailed her for the first season, and then had a major refit for nearly 2 years, and then she was almost better than new when that was finished, and we've enjoyed her ever since then, and done 2 or 3 minor refits like the electronics and the mechanicals and the heater and loos and things like that since. So it's about 3 refits.
And what were you doing this morning? You took her out?
We had a mini scrub, yes. It's been a year since she was anti-fouled, and in that time we developed a bit of a grass skirt, so we were just removing it this morning.
And she's normally moored in Cowes, is she?
No, she's normally in the Bewley River. We have a permanent mooring 200 metres upstream from Gins. And she's been there for quite a while, so she's quite a fixture in the Bewley River. In fact, there's a story that the sightseeing boat that goes down the Bewley River has, which they tell all over the loudspeaker as they go past the red boat. They say, "Oh, we know how that boat got its name, don't we?" But it's not true. It's not for that reason. It's actually named after the Marx Brothers films. But its history was originally that it was Yeoman 14, and as Onatia called all his boats Yeoman, and for a period of time he didn't allow other boats to continue on with the Yeoman name, but now that's relaxed. We might go back to Yeoman 14 at some point.
And what's the dimensions?
It's 35 foot long, 26.5 on the waterline, and rates according to the 1 ton rule, 29 feet or so, which was the rule at the time, 10-foot beam, and is very, very heavy. It has a very large ballast keel, just almost not quite 2 meters down, and so it's very stable and perhaps maybe over ballasted.
So besides the little doggy, what is so special about this boat?
Well, to me, the overriding thing which attracted me to her was the fact that she's made of teak, and in not just teak up to the waterline, but teak right the way up to the deck, which was unusual in those days. To save weight on racing boats, they sometimes made teak up to the waterline and then mahogany from the waterline to the deck, but this is teak all the way through. and it has been, as you know, teak is a very stable wood and it doesn't expand and contract very much, so it doesn't have plank lines, and I don't have to paint her every year. I probably do the painting once every 6 or 7 years, and it has been, many people have remarked she looks like a fiberglass boat, which she isn't. When we did the major refurb, I had to scrape back the outside paint coverings to get to the teak underneath, and it looked like a piano. It was beautifully, each of the seams were beautifully splined with mahogany, and it looked absolutely super. It's a shame to cover it all over with paint and anti-fouling. But you see the beautiful teak planking on the inside all the time because it's not covered, and we've left the interior very much as it was originally.
Because when she was out of the water, it's quite amazing how large she is underneath. I mean,
it's a very large underwater wetted surface area, and that is a big drag, a big hindrance. And we do race a lot against modern boats, and it's quite noticeable that when you're sailing with the tide, our keel catches the tide much more than the modern very thin keels with ballast bulbs at the end. And when we're sailing against the tide, we've got a severe handicap. And in fact, on most runs, we have to sail straight into the tide, regardless of what the wind is doing.
But did you buy her as a cruiser or as a cruiser racer?
No, cruiser racer, and that has been its heritage. The previous owner had it primarily for cruising, but I've been doing a mix of racing and cruising, and I've got a fairly full schedule of races coming up this summer, which is going to be great fun. We do it for the enjoyment, not to win, but to have fun doing it.
You do all the classics on the Solent?
Yes, well, nearly all, not all of them. There are some others which we don't have time to do, but we've got a mixture of city sailing series round the island, possibly Cowsweek, Panerai, and maybe the Tattanger Regatta, which is always fun down at the western end of the Solent. So quite a full programme this year, but interspersed with a bit of cruising as well.
And any tips for people, my viewers have got dogs who want to take their dogs on board?
Yes, try it out. See what happens. It's worth it. It was a surprise to me that the Rumpole has taken to the water so well, because he's not a dog that likes swimming and going into water wherever he sees it. So that's a big plus.
And is he your best crewmate?
Oh, absolutely. He's a very, very important member of the crew. Yeah.
Rumpole comes first then.
Yeah, he's a good hot water bottle, and he's very good. He's much of a lap dog, so he's happy as long as he's got a nice warm lap to sit on. Rumpole of Battersea, sometimes known as Lord Rumpole of Battersea. He's got his able seaman's ticket. He seems to like boating, which is good. He's 2 years old, a Coton de Tuliar, otherwise known as the Royal Dog Madagascar.